let's dive into something that probably sounds pretty familiar. I want you to picture a university classroom and essays being handed back. It's a scene that plays out, all the time, everywhere. But this one particular case, well, it tells us a surprising amount about the world we're living in right now.
So we're going to look at the story of a student. We'll call her Mara. And her experience isn't really about being a bad student, not at all. It's about being a product of the culture that shaped her. And it's through her story that we can start to unpack a much, much bigger idea. Okay, so here's the rundown. Mara works really hard on a paper. We're talking 2 full weekends. She gets it back and it's a B+. Now that's a good grade, right? But it's not what she was hoping for. So she immediately files a formal grievance. But get this. This is the twist. She doesn't argue with any of the professor's comments. She doesn't question the feedback on the essay itself. She just disputes the outcome. And that, right there, is the million-dollar question. If her complaint wasn't about the substance of her work, what on earth was it about? It wasn't about the feedback. It was about what she felt she was owed. It's almost as if she believed the grade should honor how much she wanted it, not just the quality of what she produced. And this is where we zoom out from a simple grade dispute to a massive, culture-shaping idea. This idea is what our source material calls the architecture of entitlement. But hold on, because it's not about simple selfishness, like wanting a bigger piece of the pie. It's way deeper. It's a kind of rebellion against the very nature of reality, a reality that frankly doesn't always care how we feel. You know who captured this perfectly? Dostoevsky. The character in his book rages against simple arithmetic, not because he's bad at math, but because he just can't stand a world that has rules he didn't agree to. The simple fact that 2 + 2 = 4, regardless of his opinion, feels like a personal attack, an intolerable offense. And that nails the specific kind of entitlement we're exploring here. It's ontological. It's not just wanting stuff. It's this profound, deep-seated belief that the universe itself owes you a negotiation. It's the conviction that the sheer intensity of your desire is all the proof you need that you deserve it. And this is where we really need to draw a clear line. Self-confidence? That's about what you believe you can do. Arrogance? That's about how you rank yourself against other people. But this kind of entitlement, man, it's on a whole other level. It's a belief about your fundamental place in the fabric of the world itself. And psychologists have been talking about this for over a century. Alfred Adler, he called it the pampered style of life, which leads to a person feeling constantly wronged by the world. Karen Horney noted how these neurotic claims don't lead to happiness, but to this state of permanent low-grade rage. The really crucial point here is that this mindset often creates the most suffering for the very person who holds it. But this isn't just some modern psychological quirk. Oh no. This is a civilizational problem that thinkers have been warning us about for literally thousands of years. The diagnosis was made a long, long time ago. We just haven't been listening. I mean, the warnings stretch way back. Plato feared that a culture obsessed with absolute freedom would eventually start to see any limit, whether it's a teacher's authority or the rule of law, as a form of oppression. Aristotle worried it would destroy our practical wisdom. Look at Rome. The Republic collapsed when personal desire completely overtook civic duty. And centuries later, Tocqueville predicted that this democratic demand for total equality could lead to a soft despotism, where the state just manages every little part of our lives to smooth out any hint of unfairness. And seriously, these weren't just abstract philosophical games. They were incredibly precise predictions. They were laying out the exact consequences for a society that can no longer tell the difference between a desire and a right. So, how did these ancient warnings become our modern reality? A few key shifts in the 20th and 21st centuries basically acted as a massive accelerator, just pouring gasoline on the fire. The source material calls it the therapeutic turn. And look, it started with a really compassionate and true insight. Your psychological needs are real and they matter. But as this idea moved out of the therapist's office and into the wider culture, it kind of mutated. Your needs are real turned into your needs are rights. And from there, it was a very short leap to the world owes you their satisfaction. And then came the ultimate accelerator, social media. It's basically a perfect entitlement engine. It's designed from the ground up to reward the performance of grievance. It gives you instant validation from a community that's built not on shared responsibility, but on shared claims against the world. Which brings us right back to Mara. So after her complaint didn't go anywhere, she posted about her injustice online. And the result? Just take a look at these numbers. The number of people who actually read her essay? 0. The number of people who saw her actual grade? 1, the professor. But the number of people who rushed to support her claim of being wronged? 200. The system validated her feeling without any connection to the actual facts on the ground. So does this mean we should just dismiss all claims of injustice? No, absolutely not. That's not the point. The crucial thing, the final choice, is learning to tell the difference between a legitimate fight for dignity and a pathological demand based on what we think we deserve.
So on one hand, you have a legitimate claim for dignity. This is about taking existing principles of justice and extending them to people who have been wrongly excluded. It's about applying the rules fairly to everyone. But pathological entitlement, that's different. That's about inventing brand new claims against reality itself. The idea that simply wanting something is the same as earning it, or that feeling disappointed is the same thing as being a victim of injustice. And according to our source, this is the massive civilizational line we crossed. We completely mixed up dignity with desert. We built a culture where to simply question someone's expectations is seen as a direct attack on their inherent worth as a person. And let's be honest, a society that can't make honest assessments of effort and achievement, well, it's in serious trouble. So let's go back to that Dostoevsky quote one last time. The argument here is that his character got it exactly backwards. Accepting that twice 2 makes 4 isn't a submission to death, it is the absolute precondition for truth. It is the solid ground you need to stand on to build anything real, anything that lasts. And this leaves us with one final, and I think vital question. If a freedom that's based on limitless claims and infinite expectations is just unsustainable, then what kind of freedom can actually last? What kind of freedom doesn't end up eating itself? And the answer our source suggests is this. Real freedom isn't about getting everything you want. It's about learning to want what the world can genuinely give. And that is not submission. That is the only kind of freedom that does not eventually devour itself.